transit to the airport? I get this question a lot. So let me have a little sip of tea. I'm not really publicizing Alaska Air, but this is just the best picture I had from taking my last flight. So the best way to get to from Whidbey Island to SeaTac specifically was something I had never done really, because I have a friend in Seattle. I usually go down, leave my car with her, and then catch public transit from Seattle. That gave me a good excuse to go visit my friends. So I decided, with so many people asking me this question, I should figure it out. So I asked a couple of experts to come with me. These people are friends of mine who have done this several times, but none of us had done it since the pandemic. So we knew that bus schedules had changed, and we have a new ferry terminal now, and some different things had occurred in the last couple of years. So we thought we'll go and see how this works. So I invited Liz, who's done this several times, a regular bus rider from Green Bay, and Lee from Langley. We both got there by bus, and Lee took her bike into Langley and left it for the day, so she carried her bike helmet with her. But we had to get up really early in the morning, because the best way to travel by public transit is to travel with commuters. So getting up early, and we wanted to catch the Sounder train, so because it's exciting to take a train. So while we're down there at the ferry terminal, there was people coming by getting ready to catch the ferry, and a fellow came by with his wheeled luggage. He looked like he was going to the airport, and I thought, I wonder how commuters do it. Do they bring wheeled luggage? Do they carry a pack? So I was observing this on my way, and as you can see, most of the commuters have a day pack, maybe a shoulder bag. Very few are bringing along wheeled luggage. So we'll see why as we go along. Here's a fellow with a giant duffel bag, grunting and groaning, although he's a big, strong guy, carrying this up the stairs at the ferry. Now we know there are elevators on the ferry, but sometimes we forget, like, where is that elevator? And I've taken the stairs so many times, I'll just grab this and lug it up the stairs. But on public transit, you get to a lot of stairs. Sometimes you can see the elevator, sometimes not. So maybe it's good to pack light and carry something you can put on your back or over your shoulder. My friend just ahead of him is carrying a nice size day pack. She has plenty of stuff in there because it's spring. You never know what the weather's going to do. So we have lots of layers with us. So while we're on the ferry, we're looking ahead to our next connection. And in the new ferry terminal, the buses meet the boat on the north side of the building. So one tip is to look ahead when you're on one type of public transit to see where your next connection is going to be. And the other tip is follow the commuters. So when the horde leaves the ferry, you don't go down to the car deck anymore. You stay up top and you go across the little bridge that connects you with the terminal. And then this whole horde of people go out and they go around the north side of the building. They don't go through the terminal, they go around the north side, and that's where you can see your bus waiting for you. So there's a really good direct connection. The 880 is right there in front. It's ready to pick you up and take you right to North Gate, where they have a new link light rail that goes directly to the airport. So you've gone from Island Transit bus to the ferry to the 880, and then you can go right to link light rail into the airport. So that's 4 steps, but pretty direct. And that 880 runs just on weekdays and only during commuter hours. So we wanted to take the Sounder train just to compare. So we went all the way around the north side of the building and over to the train stop. The Sounder train the north end of the Sounder train starts in Everett, and then it stops in Mukilteo. And we gave ourselves a little bit of extra time so that I could take pictures, because I'm that way. And we just found this beautiful new train station there. So my friends, our seniors, I'm sorry, forgot to mention they also have bike lockers there. We didn't have a bike, but I thought it was worth noting. Here's the ticket kiosk, so you can go right up to get your ticket, and this is what it looks like. makes it really, really simple. So if you have an Orca card, which does not work on Island Transit, but does work in King County and does work for the Sounder train and does work for the ferry. So my two traveling companions had their Orca cards, but I wanted to try the other option. So I looked at the left side of the screen. It says choose a destination, or the most obvious destination. I guess the most popular one is the downtown Seattle King Street station. That's where we were going. So pretty easy to pick that button and get your ticket. They have it in a few different languages as well. So I got my ticket while my friends were tapping their Orca card on these little yellow kiosks that we saw all along the way. So you can see these kiosks, you tap your Orca card on the way into the Sounder train and on the way out. They also have great signage all along the way. So if you're a little confused, they have the schedule, they have maps, they have all the other connections and places you can go to pick up the bus or the ferry. So pretty easy to follow. And then here comes our train. It's coming from Everett, so it's coming from the north side of the terminal. And I wanted to point out there's a ramp for anyone using a wheelchair or mobility device so that their elevation is directly on the platform, from the platform into the train. Or if you were not using wheels, you can just step into the train. Pretty easy. For those who are interested in that, pedestrian overpass over the train just are for people who are taking the train to Everett going north, but we're going south, so we're staying on the water side of the tracks. Hopping on the train, really nice and clean, easy to find a seat with a beautiful view of the water. Nice ride. We had a little cup of coffee on our way, and then we passed right by the Edmonds Ferry, which is another stop you can make if you want to just go to Edmonds for the day. You can do that. We entered Seattle over the Fremont Bridge, and pretty soon we're in downtown Seattle. You can get off the train, you can see the Smith Tower to the north. And again, we're following the commuters, following the horde. They go right up on the street to Jackson, where there are streetcars. There are buses, there are people on bikes, there are bikes that you can rent. Lots of options if you want to get around downtown Seattle from here. We were at the International District, the Chinatown station, and they had a beautiful arch over the street there. Lots of information at their light rail station there, maps and connections. And again, you get the same ticket kiosk that we saw in Mukilteo. Got our ticket, and then I'd go find the light rail, which is down below. So again, if you have wheeled luggage, you have the stairs, or in this case, the elevators right next to the stairs. They had, if you see on the left side of the screen, there's an Orca card kiosk there, pretty obvious. Those yellow kiosks are all the same. Down a big flight of stairs, and we had gone from here to SeaTac on light rail before, so we went down the north side. But if you were going to SeaTac, you go down the other side and get on light rail. There was a service animal on the light rail car that stayed right with the woman that needed him. There was also a bike, so you can see bikes hang up on these hooks. Really easy to bring a bike on the light rail. Lots of stops, and the one that where we got on is right about in the middle. So the King Street station's right in the middle. It takes about a half an hour to get from there to SeaTac. And then you get off, you're out on the terminal platform, and you can just, takes about 5 minutes to walk into the terminal, to the airport. And then from there, you can go all over the world. So for us, we wanted to try, okay, what if we just did a flight and we came back home? We're on our way home. Always good to have good traveling companions, joking around, having fun. And we're going to take the light rail to the North Gate, the new North Gate light rail station. So we catch that, and it takes a full hour to go from SeaTac to North Gate. Lots of stops along the way, but easy traveling. And then one thing we found is that when you get to the new North Gate station, there's just a lot of connections there. So there's maps, there's schedules all over the place. And the Orca tap kiosk is there. There are escalators right next to the stairs, so you can bring your wheel luggage on the escalator. And what we found is it's good to go on the south side if you're exiting that building. But we went off on the north side. So we walked around the whole transit center looking for our bus stop. So we found that there are a lot of King County buses there. This is the old established part of that transit center. The new part is closer to I-5, and our bus, the 512, leaving Northgate, was going to take us to Linwood. And we found that closest to I-5, where there's plenty of signage and like a digital thing that says when your bus will be coming, how many minutes away it is. And then the bus came around the corner with a sign that said masked, mandatory, and then on the front it said not in service, which kind of threw me for a loop. But when it came up next to us, right at the bus stop where we were expecting it, you could read the side that said 512 going to Everett. So that's the one we wanted. We're not going all the way to Everett, we're going to Linwood, but the 512 will get us there. So we caught that up to the Linwood Park and Ride. Took about 20 minutes, I think it is. And then Linwood Park and Ride is a lovely park and ride, but there really isn't anything to do around the Linwood Park and Ride. There are a lot of apartments and things like that, but not coffee shops and places to hang out. So I was careful when I was looking at our schedule to find the connection that was the shortest connection between buses. So we had to go from the 512 to the 113 here, and you can either be there for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So I recommend you look at that carefully or call their number and find out what's the shortest period of time. So we had 30 minutes to look around the Linwood Park and Ride and find our stop. Liz was especially good at reading every single sign. She even read the one that was in Braille. And we had a few minutes left to check things out. I thought she was looking at some sort of app on her phone, but she actually was checking her stock market progress. I don't know what that was. So then our bus arrives at the Linwood Park and Ride. It's well marked. It says Mukilteo on the front, 113 Mukilteo. So we hop on board. This is community transit now. So we've gone from, let's see, the ferry, the Sounder train, the Link light rail, the Sound Transit bus, and now we're on community transit heading to Mukilteo. And look what we find, the same health and safety participating system symbol inside the bus. So we had a good ride, lots of people coming and going, people that needed assistance were easy getting in and out of the bus. And we were sitting there thinking, you know, I don't know where the bus is going to leave us when it gets to Mukilteo to the ferry terminal. I don't know where the bus stop is going to be. But we saw a gentleman on the bus who was dressed in an Ivers outfit. So I thought, oh, he's going to Ivers. We'll follow him. So we got to our stop and followed him. He led us right to Ivers where we had lunch. And then we walked over to the terminal. So it happened to be a beautiful day. But if it's not a beautiful day, the terminal upstairs has a great place, a big waiting room, so you can hang out and enjoy the art and the exhibits up there. A lot of beautiful creative stuff went into this ferry terminal. And then when our ferry arrived, we went on board. This is midday now, so bus schedules are not so great middle of the day. So we timed it so that we could come back and catch our Island Transit bus. These are the routes that meet the ferry terminal. So the Route 1, the Route 60, and then during commuter hours, Route 58 and the Clinton commuter also get down to the ferry. So we were able to take Island Transit home. And that was our route down to SeaTac and back. I made a handout for it, so I have it in. This blue is the Sounder train, the pink is the 880 bus, and the yellow is what you take if you're coming and going on a weekend, which doesn't offer the faster options, but the one that we took coming back with an extra bus in there. So the most expensive one is the weekend option, and that is $12.13. The least expensive was the Sounder train. That was $10.13, and it took about an hour and a half. So it's hard to do that much faster with your own car, an hour and a half from the Clinton Ferry down to SeaTac. And then you have to figure out what to do with your car. So I'm going to put this on our website so that you will have some reference to how to get there and back on SeaTac. And we hope you have some safe travels on your way. Here it is for all the details. So while you're studying that, get up, turn around, sit back down. We're going to have another short talk on transit.